Welcome to another story made by Oracle One. Beneath the cold, ink-black waves of the North Atlantic, a small submersible named the Ardent glided silently, its dim amber lights barely penetrating the crushing dark. Captain Eleanor Voss, a veteran deep-sea diver and marine archaeologist, ran her hands over the worn control panel of the craft as it descended to a record depth. The sea had been silent for hundreds of meters, but today, on this grim November morning, the ocean had offered them a gift wrapped in terror. 3 days earlier, a storm had battered a remote fishing village off the coast of Iceland, and the locals claimed a mysterious object had washed ashore. What they described did not match any known wreckage. A colossal structure, covered in barnacles and strange sigils, something ancient and unknowable. An echo in the submerged night. Eleanor and her team of divers had traced the object's origin to a previously undiscovered shipwreck, a leviathan lost to time. They dubbed it the Obscura, though no records existed of its name or even its fate. The vessel had a design unlike any other. Neither the crude timbers of medieval vessels nor the modern steelwork of 20th-century ships. This was something out of place and out of time. Years ago, Eleanor had learned the depths stored secrets older than any scholar's knowledge, secrets whispered by the unfathomable, secret things lurking in the ocean's depths. The submersible's external camera captured images of the ship's hull, encrusted with coral growth, but also strange geometric shapes, impossible to identify and out of context with any known culture. Closer to the bow, Eleanor glimpsed a grotesque carving, a gaping maw filled with rows of jagged teeth, and eyes that seemed to channel unseen darkness. Before she could react, the craft's sensors began to flicker erratically. "Captain, the readouts are fluctuating," muttered Simon, the engineer, voice crackling over the comm link. "Magnetic fields are spiking, something is messing with the instruments." Eleanor frowned and maneuvered to circle the vessel. The mood inside the Ardent grew oppressive, a suffocating weight like the abyssal pressure outside. The shipwreck was dead, yet it seemed alive with some unknown power. "Prepare to dock," Eleanor instructed the pilot. The docking clamps hissed as they latched onto the side of the wreck. The air was stale, thick with the scent of corrosion and forgotten time. Eleanor donned her helmet and checked her oxygen. The team prepped for an exit, knowing the risk but hungry for discovery. Inside the wreck, the world twisted, corridors plunged into darkness deeper than the sea itself, walls pulsating as if breathing with the rhythm of some unseen heart. The ship's interior was undecayed, no rust or rot, only a deep, spectral sheen like obsidian glass. Strange glyphs frothed beneath the surface of the walls, seeming to shift and writhe when viewed from the corner of the eye. As Eleanor's flashlight cut through the darkness, it revealed a room at the center of the ship glowing faintly with an otherworldly green bioluminescence. Pacing slowly towards it, she held her breath, feeling the weight of millennia press against her mind. The room contained a massive sarcophagus framed by more menacing carvings, twisted figures writhing in agony and ecstasy, their faces masked by tentacles or eyes where mouths should have been. Simon's voice suddenly cut into the comm, panic lacing his words. "Captain, cameras are going haywire. Wait, I'm getting signals. I think something's moving." Eleanor's heart pounded. "Stay calm, we're near the sarcophagus. I want a full scan." The device beeped erratically, detecting a living organism inside, cold blood pulsing beneath a shell older than human memory. Eleanor pressed her gloved hand against the sarcophagus's smooth surface, noting an unnatural chill that crept through her. Her skin prickled. Then came a whisper, barely audible at first but growing louder, like a breath against her ear. The words were not in any language she knew, a humming cadence that stirred ancient fears. The sarcophagus shuddered suddenly. A crack sounded like a gunshot in the silence. The lid shifted, sliding open with tendrils of darkness curling into the room, before a monstrous figure unfurled. It was impossible to describe clearly. It defied geometry. Fleeting impressions of scaled limbs, countless eyes, and mouths that oozed shadows emerged and then vanished. The creature's gaze bore into Eleanor's soul, a hunger older than time itself. "Surface, now!" Eleanor shouted into her calm, her voice fraught with dread. But the ship was no longer a passive ruin. Corridors began to close, metal groaning like a living thing. The dark tendrils slithered out like smoke, moving faster than the mind could follow. The team scrambled back to the submersible, pursued by the entity's slashing appendages and echoing guttural cries. Inside the Ardent, alarms blared as the creature lashed at the hull. Eleanor fought to maintain control despite the thrumming pulse of pervasive dread that tried to drown her. The submersible shuddered violently, lights flickering. The creature's presence coated the metal like ice, dripping dark tar-like substance that burned the paint. "Emergency ascent," ordered Eleanor, eyes fixed on the instrument panel redlining beneath the pressure. The engines roared to life. The descent cables groaned as the Ardent broke free, plummeting upward through tidal darkness. But something clung to the craft, a shadowy appendage wrapping tight like a vice, threatening to tear them back down into the abyss. Outside the viewport, Eleanor glimpsed brief glimpses of the being, a vast, churning mass of eyes and tentacles that seemed to stretch beyond the submersible's frame, lurking in the infinite shadow of the ocean's heart. At last, the surface broke like a shattering mirror. The team gasped for fresh air as the vessel bobbed in the gray waters under a sullen sky. But the encounter had unmoored something deep and terrible, something that would haunt the currents and dreams of the living. Eleanor knew the truth as she looked back toward the restless sea. They had awakened a being older than time, not a mere wreck, but a prison, an ancient terror that had sunk into the ocean's abyss to sleep but was now stirring. And the ocean never forgets. The shadows beneath the waves had started to drown. For more stories, like and subscribe.